Hey everyone, welcome to the channel Green Learner. So it's a very long time since I have uploaded any video on the channel. So it is all because of the bad timing that is going on, that is this coronavirus and this hell disease that is there. So due to coronavirus, the day lockdown started here in India, so the same day my laptop got some problem and it was unable to I was unable to start it. So it felt like coronavirus infected my laptop, right? So that time service center and all those stuffs were shut and I could not get it repaired at that time. So as soon as the lockdown lifted, I visited service center and got the laptop repaired. Today only I collected my laptop from the service center, so I eagerly wanted to create a video and upload it on the channel so that I can make it alive again, right? So which was dormant since long time. So it was dormant from my side. I was not uploading, but thank you all for your support. So you were continuously watching and putting the comment, and I was able to respond as much as I could, right? So I hope the same support and same sharing and knowledge sharing will go on this channel, right? So with the same hope, I'm going to continue this again, right? So this video I'm going to talk about the some stuff, writing the test for our application. So before proceeding, let me brief you what we have covered so far, right? So these are the three videos that I already have covered about the JUnit. So this is about the introduction, and this is the environment setup where I have created all the project and all those things. And next third video I have talked about the test lifecycle method. So this was the theory part, right? So this video I'm going to do the practical. So let's also revisit the long plan that we have. So this is all about the microservice testing that we are going to do. So this is the first topic, JUnit, that we are covering, right? So we have a lot of things: Mockito, code coverage, mutations, SonarQube, integration testing to do to complete the microservice testing, right? So let's start quickly and finish this as soon as possible. So this is the our code, our sample application, that is calculator, right? So calculator, so seems funny. So I have chosen this project, this calculator, super simple, with the purpose, right? So I just wanted to focus on the APIs that JUnit API, that JUnit Jupyter API has, right? So I do not want to waste time in understanding the logic. If I take the complex project for the testing to understand the JUnit API, it could be difficult, right? So that is why I have chosen this calculator to make it super simple and just to focus on the JUnit library that we are going to use. So this calculator has these different methods: add, subtract, multiply, divide, and all those things, right? So to start writing test, first of all we should understand what approach we should follow. First of all we should select a class that we want to put under test, and then in that class we have to identify which method that I want to test. So there can be many methods. There are some public, some private, right? So all the public methods that are there in the class supposed to go under unit testing, right? So I have all the test, all the add, subtract, multiply as public here. So all of them are going to have unit test. So I am going to pick this first method, that is add method, which is taking two numbers n1 and n2 and simply returning some of those methods, some of those parameters, right? So I'm going to make I'm going to add more functionality into this add subsequently as we write the few more tests around this, and all other methods like subtract, multiply, you can write your own. It is just for practice. I'll push this code on the GitHub, right? So let's go ahead and start writing tests for this calculator add method, right? So coming to the project structure, we have main and test. So under main method, Java, this project, this package, and we have this calculator class, right? So same directory structure we have here under test. So here we are writing the test, right? So see, I'm going to name this calculator add test. So this is the class that is there for the test method. So first of all I have to create the instance of the class that I want to put under test. So calculator, right? So this is make this private, right? So now write the first method, void add test case 1. We are handling cache case 1, right? So this is it. So we have written the method and annotate it with test. So this is the magic annotation that it has at the rate test. So when it has at the rate test annotation, JUnit Jupyter API is going to pick this method for testing to execute, right? So whatever we write here, it is going to be executed by the JUnit Jupyter API, right? So we have calculator. So so let's take calculator and call the add method. So add method, we have two parameters, right? So n1 and n2. So n1 and n2, what are those? Those are the sample data. So int I have to pass. Suppose I'm taking number int2 20. So in unit testing, we always have two things. First, it's sample data, and other one is the expected data. So we play around these two things, right? So sample data we pass to the method that we are going to test, and whatever result that it is returning, it is the actual result, and we have to compare this actual result with this expected data. So we have this sample data n1 and n2, and we have to know the result out of this, right? So we are going to put these two numbers, these two sample data under this add methods. What is the expected result? So I know that sum of these two methods is 30, and I expect the same from the actual thing. So if I compare the sum and expected data here, it should be same, right? So write a expected value here 30, right? And now compare. How we can compare it? So we have assertion libraries for that, right? So if I write assert, if I type this one and control plus space, it is going to suggest me the available libraries that are there. So these are the assertion. You can directly write the assertions.assert equal, that's not an issue. So these are the different overridden methods that are there here, right? So first parameter, it is taking the expected result, right? So expected, and the second parameter that it is taking, it is the actual result. So actual result is sum. That's it, we are done. So just to revise, we have sample data, we have expected data, we have passed the sample data into the method that we are doing the unit testing, and whatever result it has written, it is the actual data. And now we are going to compare the expected data and actual data. So what we think that they are equal. So what is the condition for the test to pass? They should be equal. The condition can be different. So in some cases it can be you want to pass the test if they are not equal. In this case, I want these two to be equal to pass the test, right? So this is done. So next thing, I have to run this test, right? So if any IDE you are working on, IntelliJ, Eclipse, or Spring Tools, STS, or any other IDE, if you're writing the test, the framework is going to detect that test and put some mark to run that test, right? So I can use this one, run this test from here. I can select this method, right click here and run this test one. So it is going to run the test for me. So it is building that environment and running the test for me. So it is passing. So test passed, time took it is 59 milliseconds. Right? So this is the pass case, right? So if the test is passing, so what is the report, that what is the result that it look like? So if the test is failing, so introduce some error. So suppose I want to put some error in our test method so that it fails, right? So if I run it again, so it will fail, and we will see some errors that is there, right? So here at this, if I select here, I can get the exact problem that it had. So expected result put 300, but actual it is coming 30, right? So I know what is the problem. I can go ahead and correct this test again, right? Next important thing I want you to keep in mind, that the order of the expected and actual result that you put here, right? So Even if I put here sum and expected here, it is going to pass, because whether I say first 30 equals second 30 or second 30 equal first 30, it is going to equal, right? That's not an issue. But when there is an error, the error message that you will get will be misleading. If we have this one, right, like this, and we have error, right? So just to show you the example, what we will see, the error that is there. What we are seeing here, we are seeing expected 30, but in actual case it is the actual result, but actual is 300. So the thing got just reversed, right? So keep in mind and put the expected first as it is taking, and some actual at later position, right? So I'm just making it correction and write the test for that. So congratulations, we have written our first unit test, positive unit test case successfully. With all the cases, if it is failing, how to debug that as well, right? So now go ahead and write the second case for second test. So you will see how easy it is to write the test. It's all about the sample data and the expected result that it is returning, and the behavior that you have in your art test method. All other things are going to be same. So now I want to change the sample data and put the negative numbers here and see what result it is giving. So if minus 20 minus 10, it is going to return me the minus 30. So if I run this again, this single test I want to run, so it is also going to pass because we have equal cases, sum and expected and actual case equal, right? So we are running the individual test cases at a time. What if I want to run all the tests that are in this particular class? So I can directly select this class and run this one, right? I could directly run it from here as well. So I am getting this proper report here, right? So this time in this report, it is giving you the name of the method, name of the test method that is there, right? So it is a bit technical, right? So if we are the developer, we can understand, but this report, if we are going to show you some external, some QA member or some business person, he's not going to understand it. So let's put some English word around this so that we can get that name, right? So if you remember from the previous video, we have display name for the to put the proper English word right here. So calculator positive. So this is the display name that I want with this. So if I run this test again, so it is going to give me the proper display name, right? Yes, I got this proper display name. Same display name I can use with the other method as well, so that that also looks beautiful. So when both numbers are negative, right? And here now both the tests I have proper English word, and I can also add the same thing with the class label display name also we can put, right? So if I write in calculator add test cases, so under this class we are going to get the calculator add test cases. See, we have nice report, calculator add test cases, add test case, and this one, right? So this was about the test display name, right? And I have taken two positive cases, where first one I have taken the positive and in the second one we have negative. In the next video, I'm going to add few behaviors in this add test method and going to explain you that also. In the subsequent video, we are going to test the exception scenarios, how to disable the test, and many more topics to come under this under these writing test cases, right? So stay tuned and do check out the next video. All the source code that I'm putting here is going to on the GitHub. All the links are in the description box. Any issue in understanding or writing the test for the practice one, put that in comment section. I'll definitely help you out how to write the test for that if you face any issue, right? So I'll see you in the next video. Till then, take care, bye bye, stay home and stay safe.